coaches in the online space, they don't have a visibility problem, they have a capacity problem. Now, what do I mean by that? You hear this everywhere in the coaching industry, and I have yet to hear an actual description where it actually makes sense. And I've had a number of people tell me that I have a impeccable way of explaining abstract type of things. So what does this mean? This whole capacity thing. Well, I'll use an example of something that is sort of fictional. I'm kind of grabbing pieces from different types of things so you can get an idea. But it's not directly about, the story is not about somebody who's dealing with a visibility problem, but they're dealing with a capacity problem. And okay, so let's say there's this famous chick, right? And she's worth 300 million plus. Let's go 3 to 500 million. And she's had, a 10 to 15 year run in terms of being, a teen pop star or whatever, right? And she's sold tens of millions of records. And if she keeps going the way that she's going to be a billionaire, and money isn't going to be a problem. Clearly visibility isn't a problem, but there's something, I don't want to say missing, but there's something isn't fully aligning. Okay. And so let's say that she is, let's say that she is going about her business, and she's got the 4 to 10 different businesses that, if she keeps building day after day, she'll keep creating the level of success that she's already created. However, she's got this there's an artistic vibe to her, and just stay with me here. There's when she was in the recording studio, right? She had that magical moment, or not even when she was in the recording studio, but when she would go to create an album, she would have those hit songs, those beats, those sexy, goosebumpy, I know I'm in the vibe, I'm in the moment, I'm in the miracle of doing it. And so and every time she did it, those songs would literally land. This time, it's not landing. Or there's things that are landing in terms of these businesses, but the magic, the goosebumpy, the chills, the excitement, the rage that turned her into who she became is not there. I mean, it's there, but it's not there the way that it was before. And she knows that in order to have that shift, there's got to be something that is activated, or there's something, she knows there's something. You don't get to that level without being in tune to the things that helped you find out those best beats that turned you into that thing. It just doesn't happen, right? Okay, so let's say she's in that place, and let's say that she's in that place, and what she's really wanting is, and she's not desperate, or nowhere near desperate. There's no she's not going to die if this doesn't happen. She's not going to go into depression, or there's nothing. This is high level people's problems. And so she's okay, I'm missing the boat here. There's something missing. And so if she goes to any of her friends or her team or whatever, they're going to say, well, what do you want? And so she has to figure it out. But the vibe is there, and she senses that there's something out there that she wants. That's that album feeling, those songs feeling. It's there, but she can't feel it. It's not landing. What's the problem? Well, we got two problems. One, she doesn't have the capacity to hold that new level of success. Why? Because it requires a different level of capacity. Why? Because it requires her to hold another level of impact that she hadn't allowed herself to register. And it requires a different level of positioning herself in the ability to receive what it is that is required for her to get to that next level. Now, relating it back to the coaching space, I can't tell you hundreds of women. I've talked to hundreds of women, no joke, who have literally been saying the exact same thing in coaching form, where they're like, I know I'm meant to be like Oprah. I know I'm meant to be, famous. I know I'm meant to be blah, blah, blah. And they're insanely talented, insanely gifted, insanely media personality, like times 100. Like, it's there. However, when I talk to them about the visibility, about like if I said, okay, poof, boom, I get you in front of the right people, and you're there, and you have 10 minutes to prove that you can shift to that room. What do you feel in your body? What do you feel in your mind? What do you feel in your spirit? And their response is clear that they don't have the capacity to hold it at that point. Why? It's not because they think that these elite people or these massive amounts of people are so great and special. Some of them too. It depends on what level that they're at. But the majority, the reality is, they haven't allowed themselves to really feel the level of impact that they could have on the planet. How it would piss off people. How it would piss off people that they know, that they trust, that they like, that they admire. How it would steal business from certain people. How it would crush other industries. How it literally would reshape other industries. How it would cause celebrities to be flipped on their fucking ass. Forgive me. That takes a level of capacity. And some of them, a lot of them, just ain't ready to go there, or are telling themselves that they just will do it later, or they haven't quite figured it out yet, or whatever the story is. They don't have a visibility problem, they have a capacity problem. That's what capacity actually means. Most of them don't want to own it. They're afraid to fully own it. And this famous chick that I gave the example of, she's afraid to own it because the reality is it would literally change the trajectory of her children's children. And she's been spending time in the studio making music and hasn't really like allowed herself to realize that kind of level and that kind of heat and that kind of impact requires a different level of capacity. I'm not saying, music and sports and, all of those other industries and fashion and stuff don't have merit and can't impact at all. I'm not saying that. But there are certain types of things that can, and it may even be that it's a fashion thing that has a different type of impact that is, that crosses over in different ways that changes the trajectory of industries on top of their children's children. They haven't gone there in their minds. They haven't gone there in their spirits. They haven't gone there in their hearts. It doesn't mean they aren't capable. It's a capacity thing. It means, can you hold that level of depth? So what does this person do? Well, recognition is the first step. Recognition that you might be shutting down work that you either did in the past that didn't, like, let's say that this famous chick, she did a little bit of mindset work to get to this level. what if this, and she's like, oh, I've already done the mindset work. I've already done this work. I'm good. And let's say she even prides herself on being somebody who's like, oh yeah, I've got that handled. But this thing over here, this like thing that would feel like, 10 albums at once every day from the moment her eyes open until the time she goes to bed, that would literally supernaturally overturn and overcome every cultural programming in every elite person. It requires a different level of thinking. It requires a different level of being. And if somebody at an elite level doesn't go, yeah, you're right, well, tell me, how many people do we know in the celebrity world that are really like changing the consciousness of the planet in a powerful, good way? How many? Are any of them being put through the ringer? That's another level of capacity. I'm not saying everybody who does this is going to have to go through something like that, but it's can you handle it if it comes? Let's say this chick, she didn't even have to run the business. She's just investing, I don't know, like $10 to $20 million. That's like nothing for her. Or even, let's even go with she's just going to invest $1.5 million, and the ROI of that within 5 years is going to be $3.5 billion. And literally her children's children will literally change the world in ways that literally will have standing ovations in every realm that ever exists. Why? Because it's that impactful. Oh, but that's not important. That doesn't require a new level of thinking. That doesn't require a new level of capacity. And when someone starts thinking at that level, they're going to suddenly find themselves like, oh, this traffic source is suddenly working for me. Oh my God, this business opportunity. Oh my God, I just found myself somebody who is dangerous in terms of creating things that produce insane ROI. ROI that I never even considered. Wow, that would be tragic. You don't have a visibility problem, you have a capacity problem. The key to that answer, what is the key, is to recognize that there's something bigger than you at play. There's a good and evil side to it. I'm not going to go too much into that, but recognition. Because if you want to think that you're the only thing that can create your success, whatever. If you think that getting to the highest level where the whole world is watching you and studying you and thinking of you as some sort of idolizing you, think of you as some sort of God or something, not everybody, but a lot of people, if you think that you are the sole person and your little team of people was the only thing that got you to that place, you're welcome for telling you, maybe you might want to check that pride. Why? Because don't successful people pride themselves on talking about how humility is the key to success? You don't have a visibility problem, you have a capacity problem. Open up your mind. Where do you really want to go? Who do you really want to be? Who do you really want to impact? What level of impact do you want to have? If I poof, boom, put it in front of you right now, how do you respond? How do you react? What does your nervous system do? What does your heart do? What does your mind do? What do you immediately think needs to be done? Ask yourself those questions. Dig deep. I'll see you in the next video.